Thank you all very much. 3 very interesting stories. Can you please get your questions ready and we'll start looking for the paddles, but we'll go to the app at the moment and there's quite a few individual questions for you, but I've got one for all 3. 3 brilliant presentations. All 3 of your stories show what's possible through collaboration, whether that's through marriage, consumer cooperation or grower cooperation. What type of leadership is needed to make those collaborations work? Who wants to go first?
I think we need doers, not only thinkers, but also people who just do it, who believe in a good story and turn the system, take a different look at the system and just try and practice and do it by falling and getting up again and again falling. So I think it's doing, yeah.
I think that's a really good point. At the heart of the kiwifruit crisis, there were a lot of naysayers who just wanted to do their own thing and look after themselves, and it took my father and a lot of his colleagues to just be absolutely focused on the whole industry and what was important to get that right. But also collaborating, so not just collaborating in the industry, but importantly, as I said, building really strong relationships with bankers and with government. And I think, I hope that the olive branch offered by the Secretary of State yesterday is taken up, because it is important to work with government both at the political and agency level.
I think having positive people behind you, Reinhard and myself are involved in benchmarking, and having positive people, backing you is a great success story, I think.
Okay. Can we go to paddle number 3, please?
Thank you. I think this question might be directed mostly at Douwe, and if I've got your name right, and in English we need more doers, so people that get jobs done. So we heard this morning from Jeremy Moody. He was telling us about how great the Dutch growers were. It felt like they were 3-4 times better than what we're doing in the UK. So we've clearly got a lot to learn. On enough field travel in 2020, I was in New Zealand and I met with a Maori, a guy that was a facilitator of Maori families, and the structure in that they passed the farmland down equally between each person in each generation. So there was a system where there was 200 families. There was actually 1,600 family members, but they were incredibly well run. It was $1 billion business that they were running, so we've got a lot to learn from New Zealand as well, clearly. But my question is, we think it's difficult getting on with one family. You're getting on. I looked at that picture there of your general meeting. You've got 200 families in the room. How do you do that? I mean, he talked about communication, having good communication, listening so people feel heard and understood. But how do you do it?
I think, well, I'm the storyteller of the board in those days, so I think it starts with a unique story that each of them can believe in it. Some people are more consumers, they think, well, it's interesting. Some are farmer-minded, they believe in it. So there's a broad story that everybody believes in. Then there's a board. So there are 8 volunteer people in the board that do the daily work. They listen to the people during the year as well. They talk to the farmer back to the people. So you're really a kind of communicating platform. And you have to be an open source, open mind, open heart to what they are telling. Even to the people who are not telling anything, they can still have an opinion. So it's important not only to listen to those that are crying as the hardest, like the farmers yesterday, because most farmers are not crying at the hardest. So it's the same with the community. So listen to those that don't say anything as well. I think that's part of it. Yeah.
One back on the app. Your path span community co-ops, family orchards and Welsh dairy rooted in land and people. We often talk about resilience as financial or environmental, yet your stories show it's also community, heritage and purpose. What's one belief or decision that shifted resilience for you, from simply weathering shocks to something you live in your business every day?
Question for me?
All of you.
Probably for us, given mine's quite a unique circumstance, that actually focusing on making it economically resilient first has been pretty key. And I think a shout out to Louise, her comment yesterday and talking about the Oxford Farming Report, show me the money. We're running a business. It is a multi-generational family business, but it's a business nonetheless that if I want my kids or my grandkids, if I have any to come back, it's going to have to be economic. They have much greater opportunity economically, and to get them back, it has to be economically sustainable and resilient first and foremost.
I think in our movement, it's the citizens are the most important source. So, and I think most people, if you go out to the street and ask what do you like, then they like a lively landscape with a lot of insects and animals running around the fields. And I think most people don't like it if it's all straight 100 hectares of maize and grass and just nothing on it. So that's where you start, and it's possible in our situation to create a landscape that most people love. And it's still, business-wise, it's still operating. So we still eat a lot of good food. So I think that's part of it, yeah.
Yeah, we're very happy and on board that the community are behind us, and obviously we don't want to upset nobody. So just having, you know, everybody on board with us. Like I said, we've got a fantastic team. We speak often to consumers and things. So yeah, just having everybody on board and keeping in contact with everybody. And you know, we've got good staff. Very fortunate that we've never had to look for staff. They've always come to us. So that's something positive to look as well.
Can we go to paddle number 4 and then we'll go to paddle 1?
Hi, Emma, and I've perhaps kind of focused in on a specific part of your presentation around kind of tourism. My family, unfortunately, got rid of our tenant farm and has fully gone into tourism because of various money situations. You can see us on Gone Fishing if any of you guys watch that. But I suppose my question is, I've been lucky enough to do agro-tourism, particularly around Europe. Managed to go to a wonderful farm in Rome that is charging an insane amount of money to teach me how to make cheese. And I suppose the question is should UK farmers be investing in agro-tourism as part of their business? What do you think the barriers are? And I think linking it back to collaboration, do you think that's an opportunity for us to rebuild our relationship with the public, getting them involved with their food, and kind of almost bypassing the supply chain, relying on them advertising how great farmers are to get the public on farm and forming part of the business?
So as a holiday let owner, when guests come and stay at the property, we've got somebody there now who's very interested in coming to see the cows. You know, just simple things we do every day, feeding and scraping. They find it very, you know, they know the challenges we go through, but I think we need to get out there more. I've spoken to our schools about getting them out to see what we do on a day-to-day basis. But like we mentioned in the last, the last talk we had, is everybody finding it hard with finances, aren't they, to just get out there and, you know, just showing. Everybody wants to know what we want to do, but just getting it out there is the hardest, I think. But social media definitely is something we all need to get on board. And like they say, put the positives as well as the negatives, because everybody needs to know.
I think additionally something about the Dutch circumstances. There are only 50,000 farmers left and 18 million people. So a farmer is getting quite a rare species, and what is rare, it must be interesting. So I think it's good if the general public visits on a daily, weekly, yearly, whatever base, a farm touristy or just interested in how it's working, how high-tech or low-tech, how a milking robot is working, but also milk manually. It's all part of their food production, and they don't know. So I think it's important for the business to be open for tourism and other visits.
I don't know, I can add to that. I think we're lucky enough in New Zealand that primary industry is still such a big enough part of the economy that people have a slightly better idea. I wouldn't say they have a much greater idea of what happens on farms. But I guess at a business level, the question is to say, are you doing that because the other farming part is uneconomic, and so you're trying to add to your off-farm income? And that was certainly a discussion last year. So that's one sort of question to ask, and then the next piece is, I think there is value, absolutely. I'm one of those people, my family, we're quite happy to go and pay to make cheese when we're on holiday and just something different. I think it is a really, really good way to educate consumers about what happens, and I think what these guys are doing is incredibly valuable to educate people.
Number one, please.
Morning. I hope everybody had a nice night last night. I did. And take this opportunity just to thank the directors of this conference. I've had a fabulous time the last 48 hours or so. It's been brilliant. So coming back to the question, it's very difficult to inspire people to come into the agricultural industry when you cannot see a clear career path. So if I wanted to be a fireman, age 16, I can apply to my local fire station, go through a health check, take a small test, check I've got all my fingers and toes and run up a ladder and I'm fine. If I want to be a pilot or a nurse, whatever, there's a career path there. If you're going into an academic career, there's a clear path there. Straight from school, you're encouraged very strongly to go to university. But the three guests that are sitting on the stage currently, you've all got very different paths to where you're at now, and everybody in this room will have. So how do you explain a career and an inspiration that comes from a small seed into something that's actually a viable career for everybody that wants one, whether you're a born and bred farmer or you're fresh to this industry?
Good question. How do you? There's different pathways to get into the dairy industry. If you're share farming or tenant farmers, just finding the right people to get involved with is what I can say.
And I think in the Netherlands, farming is becoming sexy again. And mostly not only by people who own a farm of their parents have, but people who live in the city say, well, the job I'm doing, the study I'm doing, that's not what I like. I have to work with my hands, go outside. And I think the cooperative farms makes it possible for them to become a farmer. They just can go at 9 o'clock, they drop the kids at home, they will go to work, and at 5 they're back home and they have to cook. So it's a daily job from 9 to 5. And I think that's for some people it's interesting to enter the business without running their own farm, but running somebody else's farm like ours.
I'd challenge you on whether people come into any industry these days looking for a career, given that I think I'm on my third or fourth career and finally I might work out what I'm going to do one day. There are plenty of opportunities, and I guess the point about it is that farming's not going to disappear. So there will be a career of some duration, be that short or long, in our sector, because it's not about to disappear, much like firefighters aren't about to disappear either. And I guess that's the starting proposition. What we have to do is tell really good stories about what those opportunities are. For us, it could be managing our kiwifruit business, or it could be working in the supply chain, running the packing business, or working in the marketing team. And actually all of those, because we work in close partnerships, the opportunity to move between those exists, as it should do in all of our farming businesses if we're well connected with our supply chain, which we must be if we want to get value.
I'll take one from the app and then we'll go to paddle 4. Rachel, it's evident you have a family work-life balance. We were told yesterday we become the stories we tell. In times when many raise concerns on mental well-being, what are your perspectives?
It is a juggling act, so that's why I like my routine. And if that routine is moved, well, obviously everything else is moved on. Very fortunate, like I also said in the speech, of grandparents. Yeah, we would be lost without them. But it is a juggling act. And unfortunately, those are the balls we're playing with, so we've got to deal with that, I think.
Paddle number 4.
My name is Agnes Lokoro, agroforestry and food security specialist. And my question goes to the Dutch community farmer. The Dutch government is supporting farmers to adopt agroforestry, or rather sustainable farming techniques, in order to improve soil. And my question is, how are the communities finding agroforestry, and are there challenges for them in adopting agroforestry systems? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I don't think it's the case that every cooperative farm involves agroforestry. We have a food forest, and the community changes in one direction. So in our farm, you see the number of animals is decreasing, and there's more space for arable land. And somebody says, well, let's try to do some more agroforestry, to do some intercropping, so some blueberries in between the apples, and there's a food forest. So it's a kind of development, a natural ecological development of a farm to a direction that could be kind of agroforestry or food forest, but it's not that every farm has to be like that. It's more like it's a feeling in the community to develop a certain direction. So.
We've got one again in the app for you, for all three of you. What is your view on the role of partnerships, and what is your top tip to maintain and ideally grow the benefit of those partnerships?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, what was the question?
What is your view on the role of partnerships?
Yeah, in my case, the partnership is mostly farmer to consumer, and then the other way around. So consumer surrounding, helping a farmer to develop in a sustainable direction. So that's the most strongest possible. It's stronger than politicians, stronger than banks. We don't need a bank. We don't need a supermarket. We just hire a butcher to slaughter some animals. But we're out of the system. So we don't even run a business because we don't sell. We're not certified organic because we're not a business. So we're just playing with our own land and own farm and eat food. That's it. So I think it's very strong in our business.
Yeah, partnership is important in every aspect for Reinhard and myself. Just to have, like I said, everybody on board with us and knowing where we're aiming to go.
We wouldn't be here without partnership. I think one of the strengths of the Zespri model is it focuses on coalescing the supply from growers through commercial post-harvest operators, managing the supply chain but not necessarily owning it. So it does partner. It partners with a shipping company out of Japan, for example, called Fresh Carriers. They have 4 vessels named by Zespri, and they've just done a trial this year on biodiesel for shipping as a partnership between Zespri and their sustainability focus and Fresh Carriers, one of their 25-odd-year partners. Having that relationship so that we can move product around the world where we need to, that got modern vessels that meet the needs of the fruit, is incredibly important. That's just one example of that partnership.
Great. I thought you were all being very quiet, but I've noticed there's somebody behind me, so can we go to paddle number 6, please?
Yeah, thank you very much, Vicky Robinson. I'm interested, what advice would you give your younger self?
Don't do it. No.
Do what you love. As I said in the previous question, I'm on my 3rd or 4th career. I've done a whole range of different things. Do what you love. That will change over your lifetime. But if you're not passionate about what you're doing, then you've probably got to have a look at doing something else.
And I would say keep playing. It's also my 5th or 6th career, and tomorrow will be another one. So keep playing. Life is too short not to. So.
Yeah, definite happiness is the key of everything. And if you're not happy, you're not in the right place.
We seem to have an awful lot of questions still in that for you, Douwe. And since there's none in here at the moment...
I'll be here around till 4. So.
And we've still got time, so here you go, quick fire.
5 to London, so...
How much do people pay for a share in the Dutch cooperative farm?
A share per household is it's 2,000 euros, so it's 1.7 thousand pounds. Normally you get it back when the community is fully booked. You get it back when you leave. And you pay about a fee per week. It's about, let's say in pounds, it's about 16 pounds. Sometimes a little bit more if you also take meat. So for 16 pounds a week per mouth, you get your food. And the number of mouths, for me and my wife and children, we don't take 4 mouths, we only have 2 mouths. Because it's not that if a family has 5 people, you need to buy 5 mouths. You also can do it 2 or 3.
Right, thank you. And we do have one back from the floor, so we go at paddle 6 and then we'll go at number 5.
So we've all spoken about the positivity of partnerships, but there are those partnerships which are probably challenging and tough because, as we all know, people are weird. So when you're confronted with the challenges in partnerships, how do you approach those to come out the other side?
Yeah, the partnerships I was telling about doesn't fit in the system. So the system, the local government, the provincial government, the national government, even Brussels, doesn't know how to deal with us. So we asked politicians, and even the king was visiting my farm, and we're telling about the system, how it should work, and everybody agrees that this is one of the ways to go. So I think, yeah, just tell the right story and make them a believer as well. Also in the weekend they believe it, but from 9 to 5 they are in function and they say, well, that's not good, but at the evening they love it. I think every politician that visited my farm, they were totally enthusiastic about it, so that's it. Yeah.
I think you've got to look at, you've got to be able to put yourself in the other person's shoes without sacrificing your own principles and expectations. And I think if you can do that, then you can find the room to manoeuvre. But sometimes you've got to be hard-nosed enough to say, actually, that's it. And I'll tell you in a few months, long-term business partnership in the apple business, whether that survives and we can get through those on those same principles.
Anything? No? Paddle 5.
Thank you. 3 very inspiring and different talks. My question is, where does the funding come for the cooperative farms? And is this model something that we can implement within the UK? And if so, what do you think some of the challenges are for farmers? We see in the UK more and more children that still don't know where their food comes from, the meat, fruit and veg, dairy products, and how to actually cook with those products, and I think that's so important. We do have like farm Sundays here, open farm Sundays with Leaf, but I think there needs to be a lot more done within that area.
Yeah. The funding was the first question, I think. So the funding comes from the people. So 200 households, 2,000 euros, so you get 400,000 euros. That's the investment part of the farm. So that's the money for the fences, the drainage, the irrigation, the trees, the pigs, the cows, everything that has to at the start. So the people, they pay in advance money and they hope that it will work out. So that's the initial part. And then there's the average weekly pay, that's for the daily business. So it's not paid by, even not Brussels, we don't get money from one of the only farms in the Netherlands that doesn't get any money from Brussels, no subsidies, because you're challenging the system, you have to challenge it for 100%, not say at 99 we challenge and we get some money from Brussels, for 1% we use the system. So you believe that, and even sometimes some farms said there are some people, some crowdfundings or some additional money is taken from the general public, for instance to buy land or to hire more land or whatever. So it's all money of the audience, money of the community.
Now, I know we've still got quite a few questions in the app, but we will ask our inspiring farmers to go on after, and anybody that hasn't been answered, we'll ask them to do so. Thank you very much to Rachel, to Douwe and to Richard. That concludes our morning sessions. Thank you again to our session partners, the Co-op and Pinston Communications. Lunch is now served opposite in the North School and downstairs in rooms 7, 8 and 9. The menu can be found in the app and is displayed on screens around the North School. Don't forget, there is a partner event in the East School, the Business Lounge, that away, if you don't know, which is by Tesco, and it will start promptly at 12:45. There is no lunch or refreshments in this partner session, so if you are attending it, please grab your lunch from downstairs for a quicker service, and please be back here for a 1:45 start.